Welcome to this Saturday's Travel and History Tip, and today we will actually be wrapping up the Nugget series that we have done with our friend Joel White. So I want to encourage you to watch Nuggets 180, 181, 182, and 183, as this is the culmination, and I have included it as a Saturday Travel and History Tip of hiking in the Great North Woods of New Hampshire and the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. Those of you who have seen these nuggets, you will have known about Joel's binder filled with gold mines, caves, ghost towns, and cellar holes. And I want to take you to a few of those fun places that he has taken us over the years and as recent as this summer. Here are pictures of us snowshoeing many years ago with Joel to a copper mine. Snowshoeing is an incredible sport, and if you haven't tried it, I certainly recommend it. And of course, many of you have been introduced to Prince and Zach that accompanied us on the trip to the copper mine. One of the more exciting places, well, I can't even really say that. They're all exciting when you go hiking with Joel, but one is the Old Man of the Mountain, gone but not forgotten. 10,000 BC, well, we know that's not accurate, to 2003. Old Man of the Mountain. Men hang out their signs indicative of their respective trades. Shoemakers hang out a gigantic shoe. Jewelers a monster watch. Even the dentist hangs out a gold tooth. But in the Franconia Mountains, God Almighty has hung out a sign to show that in New England He makes men. Daniel Webster. It was many years ago we rode the gondola up Cannon Mountain to reach the trailhead to reach the Old Man of the Mountain. It was 2004 and the old man had fallen. All that remained were the turnbuckles. This was no hike for those fearful of heights. Another pleasant hike that Joel and Bonnie took us on was to Sugarloaf. We saw North Sugarloaf and Middle Sugarloaf for gorgeous views near the Crawford Notch. And then we went this summer to the Ledges Trail, laid out in remembrance of loved ones and friends who celebrate the North Country's woods, fields, and trails as we have. Enjoy your hike and come again, the Tillman family. And again, this is where Joel posed for the front cover of his book, Explosive New Info on Revelation with Never Before Seen Scrolls. It's a lovely hike to the view and through ferns and boulders. And then he took us up high on another mountain to go to see these Indian burial grounds. It was mounds and mounds all over, with piles of rocks. Piles of rocks are commonly seen in New Hampshire as people cleared rocks to plow a field, but this has been indeed verified as an Indian burial ground. Over in Vermont, we went to two very interesting places. We followed Joel and Bonnie to the trailhead. At the end of this hike, we reached the Guildhall Church. What is left is this beautiful monument out in the middle of the woods. Next stop, a lead mine in Shelburne, New Hampshire, between Gorham and the Maine border. As we turned off the main road onto Lead Mine Road to head to the lead mine, as we followed Joel and Bonnie, we actually had to ford a small creek.
Trail markers.
Yeah, it's a trail marker in the North Country.
Joel and Steve are planning the attack to pass through the gorge to reach the abandoned lead mine. There are beautiful falls along the way, along the river. Joel would go on down into the river at different points to look for different shafts from the lead mine that had been dug out when they were mining lead along this river. And there were bricks all along our path that showed evidence of the work that had been done there at the turn of the 20th century. We made it to the end and crossed on down into the river where we saw the largest shaft, but as Joel explains here,
Up here where those rocks are, there used to be a brick square thing right in the center. And I don't know if it's to help divert the water or what. Then it came down here and this was really deep mine. And they had a real bad storm. And it came down and washed this, and filled this in. And then you see the bricks where the wall was that held this back so they could go down in here really deep.
And here are a few shots of the area where the largest shaft once was. And these bricks on the far wall there are evidence of the actual mining facility that once stood here. There was a beautiful pool across the river, but it was a great distance and very sketchy to get over there, so we weren't able to reach it. We just had to do this zoomed in shot. It was a beautiful pool with amazing blue water. And we also noticed this part of the cliff on the other side of the river had this interesting stratigraphy, obviously evidence of the flood. Next stop, a cave on the side of a mountain across over in New Hampshire, looking over the Connecticut River. Another day, we actually took what I would call a normal trail with Joel. It was at Pondicherry. It's a conservation partnership and part of a national wildlife refuge. It's a rails to trails, and many of you probably have rails to trails hiking in your area. We hiked the 1.5 miles to Cherry Pond. It was a beautiful day, as you can see, and the pond is simply pristine. The old rail line has been removed, but some of the signs still remain. Wambeck Link. Then we went up to Lancaster, New Hampshire, and went to the Connecticut River just south several miles of where we had gone to the cave. And you can see that the riverbank is covered with old cars. The cars were placed there many, many years ago to stop erosion. And of course, we had to head down this steep slope towards the Connecticut River and look at all these rusted old cars which have been holding the riverbank in place for many, many years. Also in Lancaster, we visited a site along the Israel River. It is the location of an abandoned former brick mill factory. The ruins were absolutely amazing. Joel led us deep into the ruins as we walked through what was best described as quicksand. Deep inside, we found these holes that peer down into this beautiful green algae-laden water, which was used during the making of the bricks. Bricks were scattered all throughout the forest surrounding the ruins. Paul found this old car just parked in the woods. After leaving this brick factory, we crossed a beautiful covered bridge heading to the town of Whitefield and walked an old railroad track that is also abandoned and saw many wonderful sights. It followed near a stream, and as you can see, Paul and Prince enjoyed checking out the stream a little closer. There were so many artifacts, but they're hidden off in the woods, and I think that people could probably be hiking along the railroad tracks and never even see these interesting things in the woods. But thanks to our guide Joel, he knew where all these exciting things were, like old power lines and signs, such as this one indicating Concord 125 miles, Berlin, New Hampshire 30 miles. Joel knows the history and stories of many of these places and events, and it's fabulous to go with him to learn about our American history. And here's a picture of the White family and the Groman family. The six of us have been hiking for decades, and it's been a real treasure. If you have not watched Nuggets 180, 181, 182, and 183, you will certainly want to do that to learn more about Joel, this man that I have titled American Grit in New Hampshire. American history. Learn it. Love it. Appreciate it. Don't let them steal our history. Treasure our American history. Don't let them steal our families. Protect your families. And again, please tell others about our YouTube channel. And while you're on the videos, be sure to click the notification bell so that you will be notified when we have uploaded new nuggets and new Saturday travel and history tips. If you appreciate these videos and can partner with us on a monthly or one-time basis, we would be most appreciative. And if you appreciate our content, tell others and repost these videos on your social platforms. For those of you looking to explore our beautiful and wonderful nation, I want to encourage you to get off and on the beaten path, the Unclassic Road Trip, Eastern Edition, Central Edition, and Western Edition. Thank you.